Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Super Breakdown. Today we'll be looking at the XM-X1 Crossbone Gundam X1 Full Cloth, piloted by Tobiah Aronnax. I will let all of you know right now, I actually do not like the way the Full Cloth plays in this game at all. I think that some decisions were done poorly compared to Full Boost, and we'll start off with those, I suppose. So your basic shot using the Phoenix Blaster is pretty good. Does some decent damage, nice little beam. Of course, blocked by IF fields or beam cloaks. However, it does not recharge on its own. You have to reload it. You can reload it by pressing the fire button again. So for most users, you will never notice a problem with this. However, you can also reload it with right trigger. That's what right trigger does. You could say, well, if you're using a fight stick, it won't be right trigger, but it still has no tactical use that I can see. I've tried to figure out if there's just a different combo of buttons required to make something else happen. I've played around with it for about 20 minutes just with this one command, and I cannot get anything other than just a reload, which is a complete waste of a button, in my opinion. The Full Cloth has so many cool things to tie many of those others behind other things while tying this button. It's just not cool, in my opinion. Regardless, we'll go into the rest of the things that it has. It has the ability to activate its IF field, and when the IF field is active, you have a charge on your Phoenix Blaster, which is pretty good. It also increases your ammunition. There's no reason not to be utilizing this mode every time it becomes available. It becomes available really quickly again, as you'll see in just a moment, and it's available for a good little amount of time. It's not bad at all. The charge does not take as long as you would think it does, especially with other modes in this game that take charges. It also will allow you to deflect the shots because it is an IF field, even after your full cloth has been destroyed. You can also charge your Phoenix Slasher, and then you have improved melee combos, although we will get into those in the second round. You also have the charge shot there that uses all of your rounds on left trigger, which is not too bad at all. And on left bumper, you have the whip. Not terrible, doesn't really combo into anything, but it does its job. For your burst, it's a range burst. Not too bad at all. Not too dissimilar from what you can do when you have the IF charged up, but hey, I'll take it. Again, I think the whip would be better if you could combo it into other things. The only way to really combo it is to wait for the animation to finish and then do side steps. But it does some decent damage, so it's not too bad. It definitely is usable, though as you can see, it's not the most effective weapon that the Crossbone X1 Full Cloth has to offer. In ranged game, I just think the Full Cloth is really weak. I don't think it really has a lot to show here. The IF charge into your same basic shot as your burst is fine. The burst obviously does more damage, but for a 500 with range, it feels very weak. The range game is definitely not why I would recommend this suit to anybody. We'll get into some other reasons this suit is pretty good in the second round, but just be aware that the range game on the X1 Kai is pretty rough, and it's one of the few 500s that doesn't have a pretty good, decent mid-range. As we go into the second round, though, of course, we ask the question, should you use the full cloth? Honestly, I'm going to say no. I think that many of the other Crossbones and many other suits in this game do what the full cloth does better. We'll get into the melee here, and it does have some really nice melee. And the melee is very flashy and fancy, but if you have the Burning Gundam, so is that, and the melee is a lot more effective, and the range game's a lot more effective. You also have suits like the Aegis or the Exia that I think excel way more in the melee game. I even think the X2 is better in melee. But you'll see what we have here. This is forward melee without Phoenix Slasher. Standard melee without Phoenix Slasher. Boosting forward. Back melee is a block or and side melee. Bad at all. Now, if you charge up the Phoenix Slasher, forward melee becomes this wonderful combo here. 230 damage, not too bad. Side melee becomes this amazing little combo. And you can actually sidestep game that really well to just continue the slashes as long as they don't go into a down state. Very nice. Charge it back up again. Oh, it's back on. Yeah, it has a recharge as well. So something to remember. I do like, however, that after you take enough damage, the full cloth is destroyed. And you just have the remnants of it. They didn't try to just make it a different model. They did make it a different model. They didn't just use the X1's model. It's the broken model instead, which is really cool. I've been calling this the Phoenix Slasher, but I think it's actually called the Muramasa, yeah. Then we have basic melee. Very nice. And back melee is still the block. Still the ranged, even with the Muramasa out. Fortunate, but hey, can you do? And forward melee without being boosting, because I think I showed boosting both times before. Very short range, unfortunately. See if we can show it off here real quick before the match is over. Yeah, I just think it's not great. I think that there are a lot of other suits that do what it does better, and I just can't recommend it compared to the others. If you're just a huge fan of the full cloth, by all means use it. It's definitely serviceable. It'll do the job. I just think that at a 500 cost, it really doesn't have enough power to offset that. Its survivability is really good with the eye field, but it just doesn't stand up to some of the other suits, in my opinion. With all that said, though, I've been Trey. This has been the Full Spectrum. And remember to always enjoy the Full Spectrum. Crossbone X1 Full Cloth has to offer. Piloted by Tobiah Aaron.